Misty Moonlight is the base of the card. So this is a 5.5 by 8.5 layer of Misty Moonlight. Then we have a piece of Flirty Flamingo, and you can see I have die cut some things out of it. Now, I die cut these things out of it kind of before I actually finished the card because I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. And so I don't end up using any of the flowers. But you know what? It's a layer that's going to be covered by another layer, so you might as well get out of it what you can, right? So I did die cut the circle. And I am going to be using the tiny little center of the circle here in just a minute when we get the card finished. So, but the rest of the pieces I'm not actually going to use on this card, but you could use them on something else. Okay, so the layer of Flirty Flamingo is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I've got a petal pink layer here that is 3 3/4 by 5. And it is embossed Timber 3D folder. It's on page 129. That's folder number 12. So we're going to have these two be layered together, obviously, onto our card base. You're going to get a scrap of pecan pie to cut out the birdhouse. And then you're going to get a piece of white, 1 3/4 inch circle for you. And then you're going to need to cut out this very skinny piece of white. That is a die in the set. Where is it at? So here's this little piece right here. And then you're going to stamp 3 little flowers on the bottom here of that piece. And so what I'm going to do here is we are going to stamp a bird on this. Where's my bird? Birdie. Did I put him in the other bin? Probably I did. All right, so we're going to stamp a bird on this circle. So I'm just inking it up in Memento. And then I'm going to bring in my foam mat just because it's a photopolymer stamp. And so I'm just going to stick him kind of like that. I don't need his full tail on there because he's just going to like be poking his little face through the piece of wood or the birdhouse. So, okay. All right, so we have that. We need to color in the bird. What am I coloring him? I've got him over here, but I can't remember. Yes, here we go. Okay. I need the lid to my ink. Here we go. So I'm going to be using Misty Moonlight. I have the light and the dark here, but I think I'm only actually using the light. I have a light Flirty Flamingo, and then I have both of my petal pinks. So to start out with for the bird, I'm going to do my Misty Moonlight. And again, you don't have to do the whole bird. You just have to do enough so that when he's poking his little head through the hole in the birdhouse that you'll be able to see him. So I'm just going to kind of go something like this and then over. And then I'm going to bring in my Flirty Flamingo. And I'm just going to kind of go right around the edge of the wings just a little bit. Like that. And while I have this out, I can go ahead and do the centers of these flowers with my Flirty Flamingo. And since I've got them here, I'm going to actually color the leaves. Now I'm doing the leaves in Misty Moonlight because, as I always say, I don't always color things the way you would actually find them in nature. I color things to be the color that I need them to go with whatever colors I'm using on my project. So while you probably won't see Misty Moonlight leaves in nature, you will find them on Barb's cards. Okay. And then I've got the dark petal pink marker to finish up the flower here. And I just kind of liked how the Flirty Flamingo and the petal pink kind of go together. I just really liked how the Flirty Flamingo just added a little bit of pop to the petals of the flowers. So we'll just go around that and then come back here to the bird, and we're just going to add the petal pink to the bird. Oh, I guess I need to do his little beak. And actually, my daughter was down here yesterday when I was making cards, kind of half making cards, half not feeling well. And she's like, you didn't even color that all the way in. So that was an ode to her. Okay, so you would then take the little die that's in the set and you would cut out all these little flowers. So there's 3 of them, and I have them here. 1, 2, 3. The bird, we're not going to cut out because we're going to just have him poke his little head through the birdhouse. So we're done with our scrap of white. You're also going to get a scrap of Misty Moonlight in your kit, and you're going to need to cut out this other birdhouse topper piece. Whoops, that one's already stamped. We want one that's not. This one that isn't stamped for the base, and then you're going to cut out a bow. Okay. So here's the 3 pieces that we're going to get. Now, again, we are going to make this bow a little darker so that it stands out from the rest of the Misty Moonlight things that we've got going on here. So I am going to bring in the dark marker, and we are going to color our little bow, our little string here, with the dark Misty Moonlight marker. So this is Misty Moonlight cardstock, Misty Moonlight marker. And like I said, I just love doing this because it really just it just levels your projects up when you can pretend that you have more than one shade of your cardstock. So you can really do a lot of fun things with this. I love adding flowers, like layering flowers with the same color, but doing this, and then they really pop. Okay, so there we go. We've got that colored in the dark, so you can see the difference, what a difference that makes, coloring it darker. It's pretty amazing. Okay. We can now start to glue some stuff together here. So I'm going to bring in my liquid glue and go around this layer of Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to add my embossed piece to it. Now, when I have dry embossed pieces of cardstock, like this layer of timber here, I definitely like to use liquid glue when I adhere them. I just feel like it holds really, really well. All right, so we're going to center this as best we can here. Okay, got that. Our little, oh, I keep pulling, well, as you can tell, I guess I can just leave it. I stamped the word happy birthday. It does come in the set. I stamped it in Misty Moonlight on the Misty Moonlight banner piece. So I'll just throw that in my bucket and I'll use that for something else. Okay, so we have our pieces of our birdhouse up here. We have that, we have that. Now we need to get a birdhouse. So let's go ahead and ink up the birdhouse in the pecan pie. And again, I am a pretty heavy-handed stamper, so I am going to take a piece of Scotch tape and I'm going to mask off this little section here. I actually thought about cutting it off because I do stamp surgery all the time, but I felt like it would really compromise the integrity of the whole thing, so I'm not going to cut it off. So this is what I'm just going to do. When I go to use it, I'm going to do this instead, just to make sure that I don't get that stamped on my projects. And you're probably thinking, well, why do you even know about that? Because I've already done it. So I was inking up my birdhouse yesterday when I wasn't feeling so great, and I pressed it down really, really hard, and I got this piece in the center here, and I don't want that on my card, so I decided that I would need to put a piece of tape in there just for my own self. Again, you all probably aren't heavy-handed stampers like me, and it might not bother you, but if it does, that's a good way. So I'm going to huff on that real quick again, since I just was not paying attention for a second. Okay, and again, no mark right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some of that wood grain, but I only want to add the wood grain in here and then on this base piece. Now the base piece is pretty simple because I can just ink up my wood piece and I can stamp it a couple of times right there. And then I have some wood action going on. But if I try to like stamp it in here, I'm going to run into this and all that. So I just cut myself out a template out of copy paper. I stamped it on there. I cut out the whole middle. Okay, so now all I have to do is place this over my birdhouse and get it covered for the most part. And then I can just simply start stamping my wood images. And I am going to cut the circle out of the middle here, so I don't need to worry about that too much. And what am I doing? I don't want to get my circle. I'm going to flip this stamp upside down, and we're going to do that. And we're going to come over here and stamp one. You can see how well that works. At least I think it works really well. so that when you peel that off, you've got this nice wood grain pattern, but it doesn't go outside the lines of what you're trying to do. So now we need to cut this out. Where's my machine? Oh, good Lord. Oh, it's possible I might have broke it. Let's just see if we can put it back together. I don't know if I broke it or not. Yikes. Okay, hold on here. If I broke it, I have another one, but I don't want it to be broken. Am I even putting this on the right way? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Oh my gosh, you guys, can you believe that? I picked it up not using the handle, and well, this is going to be a project for another day. Hold on. Wow, who knew that was going to happen? Okay, so I do have my little white one here that will work just fine because it's not broken. You can probably have my husband help me. He's pretty handy. Okay, so we are going to make our thing here. Where's my dies? Here we go. So we need the birdhouse and the circle. Okay, so let's get the birdhouse on here. And I am going to go ahead and use some of my Post-it tape because I really like using Post-it tape to keep things in place. Well, gosh, I really hope I can fix that. Not surprised. Oh, whoops, that's not going to work because I have to put my circle there. Okay. Now we can get the circle on there and we can add, I don't know what I did with my other piece of tape, but we're going to get this figured out. Okay, so the circle goes right in the middle of everything. That, oh my gosh, and then I just moved this out of the way. Obviously, now my show is turning into a nightmare. There, stick down, stay. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get that in there, get that on the top. And we're going to push that in, crank it through. Okay. And I'm going to put that somewhere where I don't have to break it again, hopefully. And then here we are with the old birdhouse. Gosh, I tell you. Whew. Some days are better than others, right? And today, it's just not going to be one of those days, I have a feeling. Okay, so we can put all this aside. We don't need that anymore, I don't think. So this is what we have, our little birdhouse. Now, if you wanted to, you can add the little detail die stamp that comes in the set. You can add that to the scallops if you want. I'm not doing it for this one, but you can if you want to. And then you see I did color in that little circle here with the pecan pie blend. So I am going to do that on this one. I do like how that looks. There we go. Okay. That. So this is what we have. So then we're going to bring our little bird friend in. And like I said, he's just going to kind of poke his little head out a little bit from behind there. And we can just use a piece of Scotch tape to tape that down. And then we'll just cut off the excess. Just like that. And I have a piece of tape that is, oh, there we go with that. Okay, so we have that. So now we're going to bring in our pieces here that we have. So the little skinny white piece, obviously you can see where that's going to go. And so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue in both of these areas because I'm going to stick both of these pieces on here. Try not to have too much so that it squishes out all over and makes a mess because I'm pretty good about doing that sometimes too. Okay. I'm going to try the white piece first. So I'm going to try to hold it there, bring it up to the top, and then push it over. There we go. And then bring it down onto this other side. Wow, I think we did a pretty good job with that. Now we're going to bring this piece in, get it up there at the top in the point, and then bring it down. And as you can see, sometimes, depending on how you do it, you may end up with a little excess of the pecan pie underneath there. If you don't like it, you can just snip it off however you want to do it, like that. I can come over here and do the same thing. Snip that off. And then if I want to come up over here, I can, to get underneath this piece as well. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to add our little piece down here. So I didn't actually need to do that now that I'm looking at it because I'm covering that up. So if you're not going to cover it up, then you would want to do it. But if you are going to cover it up, then it's not necessary. So it wasn't necessary. But then I just shared with you how I did it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to put this on so that it is evenly spaced all the way around, hopefully. Get that on there. So cute. All right. And then that is going to go onto our card like this, as far as I know. Got a cheater picture here on my other phone. Yep, that looks about right. Then we're going to end up putting our dark colored bow up here so you can see, hopefully you can see the difference. Just coloring that bow kind of makes a big difference in letting it make its own, that it can hold its own there. Then I have that little tiny circle here that I'm going to stick in the middle of the bow. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue here and then get that little circle. Whoops, it does not want to go right side up so that I can get it on here. And I probably could use some tweezers or something, but anyway. Okay, so we got that. So we are going to put the birdhouse on here, but we also have our cute little flowers to add. And so I'm going to add one of them, add a little glue here, and I am going to kind of tuck it under. So right here, kind of at the edge of the birdhouse. There we go. And then we're going to add another one here. And this one's going to be over to the side here. We're going to try and tuck that in just a little bit, push it down in there. And then finally, this little guy here, and actually what I'm going to do with him is I'm just going to take a tiny bit of glue and I'm just going to stick that behind also. So there we have 3 little flowers. So cute. And I'm going to add, let's see, do I want to do this with, I feel like I'm not going to do it with dimensionals because then my bow is going to be a little bit off. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to go ahead and use just regular glue to get this set on the card where I want it. My picture just went away. So this is about 1/4 inch from the bottom, I guess. There we go. And then I'm going to add the bow, if I can pick it up again. I don't have any fingernails really. So I'm going to add some glue to the bow and just going to be very careful just to try to add some glue right there. And then we have our house sitting on here. And then we're going to get the bow kind of right at the top like that. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. Okay, this I think we probably could use dimensionals on if I can find my dimensionals. Here we go. So we're going to do 5 like I normally do. Oh, yay, I'm glad you guys like this. I really wanted to do something with this set that didn't use the designer series paper that it was paired with in the catalog. Just because, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that paper. There's nothing wrong with that paper. It's gorgeous and it's kind of wood patterns and then there's just, the paper's fun. But I really wanted to see if I could make some fun cards without using that paper. Just, just other colors and stuff like that. So, oh my gosh, how cute is that? And then the inside layer, I just stamped a bunch of flowers at the bottom and colored them the same as I did all the other ones. Card number 2 of the class. I hope you guys liked that.